What's up, everybody? Give everybody just a mere minute here. What's up, everybody? What's up, Raj? Phil? What's up, ANF? I forgot. It's kind of hard to figure out who people are by their YouTube screen names sometimes. All right. A few more minutes here, and we'll go ahead and get started. Alrighty. What's up, Tommy? I did really well today, actually. What's up? I was green on Baba. I took Baba pretty heavy to the downside, and that was a really green play for me. I was able to negate a small loss that I took on Piton. Exited Piton on a bounce for a loss, but luckily with space and a couple other different plays, I ended the day really green, so it was a good day. SPG, we'll take a look at it. Gotta raise my chair up a little bit. Alright, we'll check it out. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get started. Lulu. So I think that was one of the ones that I was able to exit on. So it looks like it might fill its gap tomorrow. We might take a look at re-entering that trade tomorrow. So excuse me, guys. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get to it. News and stuff like that. Yeah, scene. So S&P, NASDAQ pulled back, of course, from their highs. We saw basically all four major indexes ended red. That was not honestly one of the reasons they ended red. They traded flat, but they ended red on the gap down from yesterday. So we're looking to hopefully a couple of gaps got filled, but we're looking to see some gaps on things like Apple and stuff like that get filled as well. So Carvey, they ran today. I think they hit a high somewhere around the 30s. That was a good trade today as well. Financials, they fell 2%. The XLF, or financial sector, was the weakest sector in the ETF, which brings me to earnings next week as well. JP Morgan reports on Tuesday. Goldman Sachs reports on Tuesday. Wednesday, Bank of America and Wells Fargo, Citigroup, BlackRock, a couple of others, PNC Financial Service, are all reporting as well. So the Morgan Stanley on Thursday. So basically bank earnings next week. Charles Schwab on Friday. So it's going to be an interesting week tomorrow or next week. So yeah, I'll chart Moderna. Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate that. So let's go. Let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change the format. Let me do that one more time. You guys catch me there if you want. Okay, so let's go over today's plays. Okay, so starting off with Baba and Bidu moved the same. I didn't catch both of them, but I did catch this break. We got a gap down, and I'm going to give you one of the reasons why I want to go over this trade is I want to give you one of the reasons why I took this trade. Now, so when you get a gap down, for the most part, gaps get filled, especially small gaps like this. Now, this isn't always true, but for the most part, this does hold true. So yes, in pre-market, the majority, if not basically the whole gap, got filled. And you can see that happen on this hourly wick here. So gap gets filled in pre-market, pulls right back down. So basically this candle here, this hourly candle, was where we were able to take this trade. Opened up, pushed up just a little bit, rejecting 202. And then taking that trade all the way back down to that 198 is actually the one I was looking for, the break of 200. We got more than that, and I was able to leave a couple runners and TP for some really solid gains on Baba. So still holding a pretty bearish pattern. It did finish the day. You can see here, majority of the days it rejects the 9-day moving average. So today, it finished the day climbing just above the 9-day moving average. So I will watch this one tomorrow if it decides to rebound above 201.50, and of course with volume. So as you can see there, I set an alert. Carvey, that one I think is on the Wall Street Bets whole deal, but this one just kind of ripped into the stratosphere. I know a lot of people, there's no real TA that you can do on this, but it is pulling back just like a couple of the other ones. A lot of these meme stocks just kind of pump and dump. Let's see here. So if you guys caught my video on Apple, I didn't take this trade either, but I actually regret not taking puts on Apple. This was an obvious reversal pattern, and I was looking to take it short the following day. So this one gapped down and didn't quite fill its gap. Still has a little bit of its gap to fill. So I'm curious to see if we'll bounce off of that gap down level right here, this 142.80, and then possibly like kind of and then bounce back up, fill that gap to 144.75 tomorrow. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we'll see how that plays out. Otherwise, we would have to break below 142.50 to start pulling back down, which we could possibly go and retest 140.75. So There's a gap on Apple. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go over really quickly. Sorry, I'm gonna have to pause you guys. Want to make sure I recapped everything. I'll go over Lulu really quick, and then I'm gonna go over the major indexes. So same story with Apple. Now, granted that these were far dated, I was suspecting that we could see a potential pullback, but it looks like here post market that we might actually go and try and fill that gap to looks like 178. So if we can fill that gap and then we have volume doing so, we may see a push up to 380. So that's actually a play that I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. 375.70. If we can stay below that in pre-market, that's likely where my entry would be. So could actually play out where that gap gets filled. So all right. Shit. Hold on one second. Did anybody hold space? Did anybody, so this is, actually does have technicals. So if you guys can see here, has this like little flag, triangle deal going on here. Looking to take this, I actually have a YOLO contract in my small account that costs $30. It was a $65 contract. And I think that in anticipation for the launch being Friday, like we've seen historically, space should, so this one's going to be one of the top on my playlist for momentum. Now, I want those of you to know that if you're playing space, it's probably best that you go. Now, I don't want to like just scalp it quickly if you're using weeklies, and if you're doing anything else, make sure that if you're taking like far out weekly contracts, just keep it light so that way you're not getting tore up, because you will. This is looking to be extremely volatile. If the launch is successful, yes, I think that space will push really strongly, and then it will fall really, really, really hard, because then they're going to start bringing up things about like the plausibility of them making actual profits. I'll check out AMC. One second. Okay. All right. Oops. Nice. Yeah, I do. Mostly on the YouTube, though. Okay. Looks like you got a retest today. Yeah. So it looks like you retested that resistance. Let me go to the hourly. Yep, so gap down, retest, and then it looks like you're already gapping down here. So if you end up pushing somewhere around 123.50, you should be clear to break that low of 121 or 122, and then continue to the downside. So for SPG. All right.
Girl, don't do it. It's not worth it.
What the heck? Sorry. TikTok. All right. So let's go ahead and go over major indexes. So last night we talked about the reversal pattern on SPY. That happened. All in pre-market, of course. And again, same setup as Apple. Now this one has already gone and filled its gap. That's one of the things that doesn't look that great for SPY. And that being said, we're going to need to see for one, at least a push back above that 431.55 level. But there's so many wicks here that kind of show that sellers are in control right now. So in my opinion, and just looking, it looks like you have like a very small time frame, like dynamic support here, but I would be looking for a gap up tomorrow, somewhere around like I said, the 431.50 level. Otherwise, looking at SPY, and we talked about where SPY might potentially go. And as you can see, running it off of these resistances, this is where SPY's at now. So it climbed up, held a candle here. So there is the potential that we go and retest that resistance again. But this is kind of what I expected. And that target did get hit right around that 435 level. Didn't quite get there, but right. Almost there. So anyway, let's see here. We got Qs. So Qs actually held support rather than breaking it, pulling it off this low. There we go. So as you can see, Qs holding support, holding the 9-day moving average, going for that incomplete gap fill today. And then again, just like SPY, kind of pulling back here towards the end of the day. So buyers present here. This is after hours movement, so it could just be one of those market maker wicks. But big bounce in after hours back up to that 538 level. So this could end up being a little flag, or we may be heading back down anywhere below the 355.44 level. That would be a break in support. And more than likely, we would lose some significant points on the Qs if that support is broken. So, all right. Also, check. Okay, I didn't see this. I don't know why I didn't. So check this out really quick. As you can see, there is a little triangle forming. So I mean, this may get kind of choppy tomorrow. So look for a potential pullback to that 355.50 level, and then from there, we're gonna need to see a bounce in order to see SPY head back around the 360 levels. Or Qs, excuse me, not SPY. I did read your comment. I'm just making my way down. All right, I'm trying to make sure that I go over the Qs and major indexes first. The Dow moved down, gap down, same thing as the rest of the Qs. This one holding up a little bit stronger. It lost its support or resistance turned support, and you can see that we've bounced off of that. Let me pull this back down. So today, right, we gapped down below it and then recovered, retested, and bounced. So tomorrow, I think that if we can continue that bounce, right here above the 9-day moving average, right around the 345. I can't say that number right now. 34.5 level, we should see a potential gap fill. So watch for and things like the BA. I know everybody saw like a lot of BA flow. There was actually a lot of bullish flow as well for industrials. So keep an eye on that level as well tomorrow. I'm sorry guys, my brain just glitched out. Bingo. I will check it out here in just a second. One downtrend that I gotta be watching here on SPY or on the Dow is right around there. So that looks like a dynamic resistance line as well. Okay, SPY Qs, IWM. This one today, we talked about this in pre-market. Downtrend, rejected, complete reversal today. And this could have been caused by a lot of small caps running in tandem. We had a lot of strong movement from penny stocks alike, so even some of the meme stocks running as well. So no surprise there. We are consolidated back up against that resistance now. In order to stay bullish or break that downtrend, we're gonna need to climb back up to around yesterday's high and hold it, or either break to the upside. Otherwise, IWM could see a down day if it can't hold that 220.85 level. So. Doge, yeah, live. I'll check out Bingo's chart. Apparently I already had it charted. Okay. Okay. I know Georgie's like the Bingo master in the group, but this one had a falling wedge here. It looks like it broke downtrend today. It's making a little bit of a flag here, showing a little bit of a weakness. As long as it can hold and break above 6.6, looks like 660, then this thing should see a continuation. Might see a little bit of a retest. If you do, watch 630 tomorrow for a potential bounce. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take any request that you get plug. All right, cool. Also on my watch list tomorrow, obviously BA. I know some of you guys swung it up against a pretty key resistance here. That's that 238 level. If we gap down, expect a bounce wherever this 9-day moving average opens up on the hourly. Watch for a bounce there. This one had a really great recovery today. Gap completely crushed. Good news, also pushed this thing up even higher, bounce off of that 9-day moving average. So all in all, I'm looking for continuation tomorrow, at least a push up to 240, a break of 240, and we could see 240, 350 as that top level. Anything past that would be crazy. So be careful with weeklies, but it does look good, BA. Although remember that they will keep this down right in our face. All right, so plug. What do I think about shorting SPX? I wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't. It already filled its gap, but I would wait. I would wait for a rejection off of that 9-day moving average. You can go check what on our YouTube. I just covered it with the chart and everything. I have not done Tesla yet, Ben. I'll do Tesla in just a second. Okay, so plug power. As you can see, I already had a channel that we were kind of holding on plug, and it also broke uptrend in this channel, rejected that. I'm kind of sad too because I watched that rejection happen, and it gapped up, filled its gap to. Sometimes when you get a small gap up to resistance, it's a sign that it's going to reject it. Remember, dumb money opens the market. Okay, so plug, nasty gap down. This one also, this level for plug, $30 is and has been a huge level. And as you can see here, we've hovered or consolidated in that range for quite some time in previous sessions on plug. You can see here that it fought $30 for quite some time. So right now plug is settled at a previous bounce level around 28.35. That's something we talked about I think last night. So if we can continue the bounce that we saw today, and if we go look at the hourly, that's going to require a clearing of $30. Period. End of story. It's gonna have to break it, but we saw an immediate rejection today, with the 9-day moving average relatively close, and low volume on that gap fill. So the gap gets filled, was a good gap play, but other than that, once it breaks back below 29.50, I would suspect that plug will probably make new lows, and or more than likely consolidate around that $28 to $30 level, because right now it just is not looking really good with that rejection that we saw today. So again, all of this happening on low volume. So we want to see good volume like this, news volume. You can see here big volume here at the end of the day, and then just absolute rippage. So okay. You said you wanted me to do Tesla? Alright. So, really, really interesting setup here. And I'm really curious to see what, if this is a real, and sometimes maybe you got opposing market makers, but it really seems that we're at war with Tesla. So, right now, if we zoom out, and it's going to require that we do so we can see our bottom and top support, our resistance and our support. Support's right around here, right? And we've been, that's kind of where we bounced off of today. Really, really weird, just kind of bizarre price action right now. What is going on right now? I don't know who wait, I know who that is. GM and 5-4. I think I know who that is. Thank you. If you're on right now, I appreciate you liking my trading view. I just got bombed. Anyway, so is that you, Ben? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so anyway, looking at this bottom resistance support and this bottom support, and this top resistance, we broke resistance previously, made this pennant, rejected, broke the 9, and pretty much have held this hourly downtrend, right? So what happened today is that we actually bounced off of our daily support. And that article coming out about the death cross, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's kind of bullshit in a way, like that they would write that, because like anytime a stock moves near its 200-day moving average, that doesn't always mean it's bad. A lot of stocks will consolidate for weeks, months, years, and the 200-day moving average will hold it. It will just consolidate closely until price action picks up. So, all in all, based on the range that we've seen Tesla climb before, going from 400 all the way to almost 900, the move that we've seen on Tesla, this move right here is just a wink of like what happened previously, even within this wide price range that we have here. So you can see that like Tesla hasn't quite made that move and has stayed consolidated in this range since going all the way back to January. And I mean, really not even to January, but still into December of last year when the S&P inclusion was first announced. So all that to be said, looking at the chart, sorry, I'm going ham right now. VWAP, I don't like that we didn't finish above VWAP, but we did bounce off of support, climb back up above resistance, and you can see that this resistance has been a support. You can see here, here, and here as well. And so we climbed back above it and made a tiny ass little bull flag, holding the 9-day moving average with this just declining volume. Excuse me, guys. I hope my cough goes away soon. But not COVID. 655. Point blank, end of story. If we can break above 655, and I'll even go as far as to say 655.75. And let's also see, and that's where VWAP projected as well, but also a previous support for Tesla, at least micro. So anyway, above 655.75 with SPY pushing back up through what was its previous gap, then we should see continuation. The flow looked great, but something that I want you guys to remember about flow is that flow is now used deception, like just in a way that's meant to deceive people. A lot of time I do Potter stocks, but I just lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. Shinobi just showed up, asked me about my Twitter, wiped my ADHD brain clean. Damn it. This is live, so I can't edit it out. Oh, right. Thank you, guys. So, things like AMC, right? We saw massive flow. What? Forgetful? Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so with AMC, you guys saw that there was a $1 million worth of flow. You don't know unless you go and check if they've exited or closed out those positions. Now, I will say that there are people with ridiculous amounts of money who are buying ridiculous amounts of option contracts on AMC, but a lot of these things are meant because everybody on social media was talking about how AMC was going to fly a couple weeks ago, just purely based off of flow. That could just be one of them, or it could be market makers who just, I mean, it's just as easy as buying it, triggering flow, and then selling those contracts. So anyway, I like to be careful whenever I see too much optimism or too much flow. I mean, if you look at Tesla, there was $716 $700 calls which I get that they may not obviously be expecting that those go in the money, but they may be obviously looking for a push up tomorrow to a minimum of 665. But anyway, it did break downtrend. It does look good. Really, really weird price action as far as where it bounced off and where it held. So holding a flag above what was its daily resistance, daily support, daily resistance again. So anyway, watching for a break above there. Thank you guys for being my brain. Moderna. What was Moderna's ticker? MDNRA. My dyslexic brain here. Or I could just do this. There it is. Damn, what a bounce. Yeah, I got it. I just typed it out. If I forget a ticker name, that's what I usually do. So it looks to me that we gapped down, broke our support, corrected, and just broke this downtrend. Can see pretty well respected here. It looks great as far as continuation to see such a strong bounce. Must have been. That has to, yeah, Kenneth. That's a good point. And I'm just looking at the technicals, but something like that can definitely help. Especially when you're looking at vaccine stocks. So the one thing I warn with vaccine stocks, biomedical, biopharmaceutical, anything like that, is they are very volatile and they can just slip right from underneath you. So yeah, be careful. I don't trade vaccine stocks very often. I know that some of you guys in the chat were able to catch Moderna today. But I will say it does look good for continuation. A lot of the times when I'm looking for a breakout, especially on something like I like to chart on the 4 hour, but when I'm looking for a breakout, I like to see the moving averages really close to that breakout level. So they need to cross resistance as well or break that downtrend. If we're on the topic, there you go. Yeah, for sure. I'll take a look at it. But anyway, let's see here. Do I have... Ugh, so ugly. Oh yeah, and there's my level right there. So this is basically an HMA, but I would be watching for a break tomorrow, or at least a push tomorrow to 235.65. Anywhere above that, and I think that we could see some solid continuation on Moderna. So usually, and I've seen this really consistently, that daily whole ribbon indicator, the top, whatever the top moving average is, or HMA is on that ribbon, usually serves as a, especially if it's green. If it still has momentum, then that top ribbon will serve as a great indicator, at least in my opinion, for whether that be because of a correction or just rebounding after a pullback. But if you climb back above that, that's usually where I see continuation in a stock. So I do, yes. The YouTube is right behind me. Okay, ATOS. Go ahead and send in your requests, guys, if you have them. Let's go to the 4 hour real quick. No? I guess I can pull it off of this top. Interesting. Well, regardless if I use that high, because there we go. All right, hourly for the win. I don't remember putting these levels, but I was not off. So it does look like we have a break and downtrend on ATOS. I would suspect that above $6, of course, with with momentum. No, I will go over in the video though. Looking forward to having you, John. Yeah, I can take a look at Bitcoin. Tilray UPS. All right. Anyway, above 6, and I have this level right here. Basically 6. Looks like 610 on ATOS. Looks like you've got a good zone here to push through up to that $7 mark. And that's been a previous support going back. Also resistance level, obviously a psychological number. But with volume, right now you saw pretty low volume, and that's probably why you didn't see much movement, but you did still get a bounce off of that resistance turn support. So I would suspect that if volume or whatever the case may be, that can prove to be a catalyst for ATOS, you should see continuation around there. It might be, if I was trading ATOS, somewhere around 580 if I saw volume in pre-market. I might take a bit of my position and start entering it around there, and then around the breakout around $6, if we saw the momentum and volume that we were looking for, that's where I would add to my position. So okay, did we already do NVIDIA, Tilray? Sorry, make sure I read all of these. Did I? SPG, already got that. So, about AMC. So, as much as, meme stocks look to, and this is really interesting here, not all the time do they hold technicals, right? This one does seem to respect certain trend lines. 2K, 2K today for Derek, nice. Hey, pump space. Make sure you type the right ticker. Dude, I don't need to pump space, dude. I'm in space, and I'm certain. I mean, of course, dude, those runners are up. I left one of them. I entered a long one, but those runners that I had pretty much almost paid for the entire the $80 strike that I took, and then of course today I grabbed puts. I'm playing with it. It's my form of lottery ticket. I don't drink or go out or do anything expensive, so I just play space. Runners to change your lives. Yeah, not going to space. I'll give it another 10, 15 years. Yeah. Okay, so AMC really quick. If you're watching it, above, and I don't even want to say like for sure, but it looks like above this 49.85 would be a break in downtrend. So you see the downtrend here, you see the correction, as well. Is that a descending like megaphone? No shit. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I would definitely want to see a break above 49.75. If not, this one's got some room to fall below it. Otherwise, we could see some consolidation in this little pocket here before it ends up, whatever it ends up doing after that. So, yeah, happy now. Amazon, August 20th, $4,000 calls. Pump those. Don't tell me start pump. I don't pump anything. Nothing here gets pumped. I don't do that. I don't know how to pump. And in pump, you mean just talk about it. I don't have that type of power. Do you know who I am? Not that guy. Feet. Whoa. Feet. Did you? Georgie, that's funny. All right. But anyway, yeah. So for Amazon, AMC again, $49.85. First level there is going to be, of course, $50. And then you're going to have the previous support that AMC held, and that's right around here, 43.50. That's where we're going to need to see a bounce. So pump air into USB ports. How do you do that? Not the not the feet. Oh God, Georgie, I'm gonna boot you, dude. Get out of here, dude. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin really quick. Why not? Switch over. I got ADHD, I can do it. So, I have no idea. You know my honest opinion, what I've been thinking about with Bitcoin, because everybody has their own analysis. And I see resistances, I see supports, and I see where they could go potentially. Right now, Bitcoin is just moving with low volume. There's not much of a catalyst, and that's one of the things that is going to be critical moving forward for Bitcoin is a catalyst, something positive. Everything that you see is negative, or some has some negative connotation behind it that's mainstream. So until that changes, the best we can hope for is that it trades flat, and that this ends up being a resistance. My best guess is that relatively soon, Bitcoin is going to bounce really hard. And it could even hit 44K when it does. And of course, I can't say, that's only a guess, but that's just right around where we have a previous support level. It is holding a psychological number. But that's my best guess, is that any type of positive catalyst would push it back up into the 44K level, where we could see some consolidation there. But otherwise, there's nothing positive, and that's the thing that moves Bitcoin is the sentiment behind it. I mean, going way back, this is, you can see when Bitcoin sentiment started getting shakier, that's when Bitcoin started literally looking shaky. So excuse me. Okay, so for Bitcoin, honestly, I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm a crypto expert. As far as I mean, it seems like it's relatively easy to chart. This was a reversal pattern. I did have Bitcoin. I took profit on it, and then it dumped. And that's usually what you have with these type of ascending wedges like this, especially on a daily time frame. But otherwise, right now it's just lazy price action. So right now, honestly, as long as it holds that psychological number that he was just talking about, then it's just news based is what we're looking for. So, okay. Let's see here. I think we had Tilray. Okay, so interesting setup here as well. So as you noticed, Tilray bounced today. I actually was talking about this one in pre-market, and one of the reasons why. Tell me what. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. It's not time for that. Cease and desist. Or not. So today on Tilray, and as you can see here on the daily, almost going for a retest of that previous resistance that we had, this almost like descending triangle or descending wedge that we had going on here. Looking down at the hourly, it looks like Tilray is forming a inverse head and shoulders. So let's take a look here. Oh, that's right. There we go. Okay, so there's your setup. Downtrend right here, pretty crammed up against it. 9-day moving average pressure 2. You still have plenty of room to move on the RSI. I would imagine that Tilray's first pop's going to send it to 64, 65. Anywhere past that, you've got another key resistance around 1725. Yeah, the foot joke. Ugh. Gross. Around 1725. So more than likely a break in downtrend. Otherwise, if we get a gap down tomorrow, then I would suspect a break below 15 or 16 bucks, and you could revisit that very same low that you were at today. So significant bounce, but we're going to need to see continuation. Decent volume as well. I'm going to set an alert on this because it could end up being a good trade, even if it ends up being a equity scalp for me or anybody else who has a decent sized equity. I'll check out AARVL. Tilray. Let's go to UPS. Oops. I don't know why that got moved. Hold on a second. I don't like when people look through my window. Weird. I'm at floor level, so people will just walk by and inadvertently look at my house. Okay. So this is kind of similar to what we saw from a lot of stocks today. We saw gap downs, and as you can see, I have this fib set up, and we rejected. It looks like the 0.23 or 236 level right here. Let's see, 212.61. So right around this level right here that we saw, and that's actually a previous breakout level as well for UPS. But as you can see on the hourly, we have this channel that we're trading in, and this is, I'm running it off of these two right here. But we did look after that gap down to potentially leg back down and head down towards 205, but didn't go for that gap fill entirely. But what we did do is we rather than breaking and holding below that daily resistance, we popped back above and we held it with what looks to be a potential flag. We have the VWAP crossing the 9. And so what we're going to be looking for tomorrow is basically the gap fill at 212.61. I'd say 212.65. From there, you have the gap fill to 213.85. And from there, we're going to have to pay close attention to volume and obviously correlating ETF movement. So one thing that I can do is look at UPS, and there's no flow. Nothing suitable to catch my interest. A lot of AMC puts, man. Okay, let's see here. 9:37 already, damn. Alrighty, what else did I see? Space, Sophie. I'll check out Sophie. Apparently I have this one charted as well. Oof. Just got an email from DocuSign. Is it a sign? Yeah, of course, Raj. So it looks like we're holding this resistance here. You can see running off of this 2550 high. So right now it looks like you broke a pretty key level on Sophie. Nope, that was right here. 1750. You had a H pattern form and then continuation to the downside, but it looks like nope. Unless I could be wrong. I mean, this may not be your bounce. It may have already broke. So I'm going to have to, that's one of the issues sometimes with charting with dynamic resistances and supports is that if the patterns are not quite yet complete, one of the ways that market makers can frustrate traders is by extending wedges. I think I've taught a couple people that before. Things like this pattern here, before we actually ended up making this setup, this pattern here can be, is one of those things where you can see them extend that wedge multiple times. So it could see a bounce here. Otherwise, below 16, Sophie could see a trip back down to $15 tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what pumped it, but whatever did doesn't seem to be formidable enough to hold it back up. So, but price action is consolidating a little bit. Does have a lot of volume as well. So, okay. So, is it better to do technical analysis on the hour chart or daily chart? Both. You should never you should never chart on just one time frame. If you see a bull flag on the hourly, that bull flag could be right underneath a daily resistance, giving you $1 or maybe less of room to breathe. A lot of times those daily resistances, some people, it's like market makers rely on people to not pay attention to the bigger picture. And so it's really important. Honestly, I think that the 4-hour can offer a little bit of a cleaner setup to chart on. So start on the 4-hour. If you're digging into a new stock and you're a swing trader, start with the weekly. Get an idea of where that stock's range is, supports, demand, and support and demand are, yeah, sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. Zones, resistances, supports, whatever it is, and then head back down from there. 4-hour is usually a suitable place to chart as well, and as well as once you get done getting, and think of it as like a foundation or the framework. It's the framework for your charting. You know, but you can still play stocks. Like, let's say, you know, obviously you wouldn't have been able to know this at the time, but had you have known, you know, that this pattern was going to form, you know, like a rejection off of this resistance would have been easy money or something like that. Or, like, actually a better example here is once we did in fact get a bounce and we knew that we had a resistance right here, once we saw rejection there, that would have offered a good resistance once we identified a key rejection. So that's kind of why I say that. So that's that 4-hour time frame, and then the hourly is where we would have been able to be able to identify. You can see really harsh rejection off of this, and as you can see, this is actually a previous support level, so it's also linear but dynamic at the same way, where you have this support of basically $21, and that's held up right here. That's where we break. Then you get a retest, and like most of the time you have that happen, but you get a retest right there of $21, and then you just reject. So once you see that engulfment candle, you know, taking out a long expiration date, obviously if it's not Friday, isn't a terrible idea, and then just watching for, you know, breaks in these ranges that it has. So like in between 19 and $20. I hate when they're like dead even, but that's just the way it is. You know, you would have been able to watch whether it was going to break back up to the upside, which would have been highly unlikely, especially since you saw a rejection on high volume. So, okay, did I don't think I did. Did I, go over NVIDIA? I don't think I did. I didn't. Hello. What's up? Huh? Okay. NVIDIA, this one, we talked about this one a couple of days ago. Same story. Right now, I'm watching for a bounce. I think a lot of people out there, Justin's watching for a bounce. Let me go out here to the 4-hour. Just gonna run a support. Aha. Look at that. Let me make sure I got that correct. So what it looks like, if I'm not tripping here, is that NVIDIA, with this gap down, it looks like it broke this this trend line here. And on the day, now this candle right here, it finished with the doji, but this candle here showing indecisiveness underneath the 9-day moving average. It is going to be really, really pivotal that we climb back above that $800 level in order to see NVIDIA resume running back up in pre-split. Otherwise, this reversal candle will hold true, and we could see Nvidia back down to 775 if we do not see a bounce. So I would just be watching, and you can see all of the wicks here around 787, but you can even see right here just big wicks. So buyers are present. I know that Justin swung Nvidia, so if Nvidia continues or breaks to the upside, I would say more than likely around, and you can see right here, that's where we gap down, is 800 on the dot. So probably a break above $800 with volume would be where I would be paying attention to Nvidia, and I'm actually going to go ahead and set an alert there as well. All right, what else do we got, guys? Somebody from TikTok gave this a thumbs down. On Derek, on what are they really? Interesting. Yeah, I'm about to do ARVL here. Actually, ooh, that one has a cool setup. Not a lot of volume. Actually, no, it has a lot of volume. What the hell? All right, well, let's start on the daily here. Where'd you bounce off of? Looks like a supply zone. Okay, so we're going to look at a lower time frame downtrend here, and it looks like weak price action altogether. But it looks like today you picked up volume, broke that smaller time frame downtrend, and then you ended the day with what is more than likely, that's pretty ugly, but on the hourly it looks like an ascending triangle, but it's holding the 9-day moving average, so pretty obvious resistance here at 1545. So more than likely a break above 1545, 1550, and you'll see our rival in the short term probably go and move around that 1585, 1550 level. So has pretty crazy volume. I'm actually going to set alert on that at 1550 as well. I think there's a lot of pictures of there's a gap to fill. Let me know. Where's your gap? I see if you're talking about this gap right here, between 19 and $20. Where did I learn to read charts? I gotta be honest with you, it's really, really intuitive. I'm just, and this is a personality thing, I'm not afraid of messing up or like trying something and failing. So through, you know, and there is something to be said about humans being able to identify patterns, and it may or may not be something that I excel with, just in life, in math and certain things. So I was able to really get a hang of this type of technical analysis relatively quickly, which got me interested in fundamentals and stuff like that, swing different types of trading, which only caused me to practice more. So through the act of doing, I was able to actually progress and get better. So So we talked about HOLX. I actually got an alert on this one today. That gap is looking to get filled, and it has a pretty nice cup and handle. So this is actually one that it might be worth writing down as well. By the way, I need to take a look at D-Nut. You know what ticker that is, Peyton?
No.
Krispy Kreme. D-Nut.
Sounds good.
That does sound good. We have a car, you know that. It's 8:59. You took one today. Nice job, Haney. I would say a reasonable target is 72.25 for your short time. So I might take a look at entering a position here. I like where the 9-day moving average is as well. I don't like that my EMAs somehow keep getting deleted. So please stop. 20-day moving average crossover. Yeah, so this one's above the 200-day EMA. I like it a lot. I think HOLX is a 4-star play, 5-star play, 4-star play. Because I don't know the fundamentals. If I knew the fundamentals, it would be all gold for me. If you know them, then 5 stars. So as far as hedging my long calls, that's actually something that I think about a lot, because I think that a lot of people feel helpless when they enter certain equity positions for long term, because some of the dips are excruciating, some of the scandals are excruciating. You have to get through the FUD, you have to get through just all of this. There's just a process to being a long-term holder. But when you start looking at every movement as an opportunity, and this is something that correlates into life, but you look at every opportunity, not every opportunity, obviously, but there are a lot of opportunities where you can see something that's obviously going to break a support, or obviously going to reject, running up to. Don't look at that as like, fuck, look at it as, hell yeah, I get to optimize this downside in order to use those funds, use that capital, and put it right back into my trade, right? Because if you should be, it's an attitude thing. If you look at downside, if you know your company's good stuff, PLTR, if you're buying PLTR for the long term, you should not be worried. Period. I think it's $1 trillion company. I think I'm not the only other person who does this for a living who thinks that they're $1 trillion company. It's only a matter of time before that company is $100 and people are going to be like, fuck it. And that's just the way it goes. And so you look at people who, whether you saw upside or downside, don't enter. If you have, let's say you have 10K, right? Or $500. We'll start with $500. You want to buy $500 worth of PLTR. Start with $50 purchases if you can do fractional shares at a time, right? It goes up on a certain day, maybe you buy into strength. If it completely reverses and dumps and loses, $10, then you put another $50 in. And then, if it loses a little bit the next day and then you're able to catch a bounce, you put another 50 in there. If it trades flat for a week, you watch, you set up a spread. And as this is happening, right, you're looking to buy those dips, you're also looking to say, okay, you're actively charting, you're actively looking into where these breaks of support would be. And because you have a long equity position, you can look at taking, rather than messing around too much with weeklies, which is possible if you're playing a high momentum stock or a stock with high volatility. But for the most part, you can optimize the downside and take speculative positions to protect yourself. And then when you see high probability plays, get excited about being able to take a put play on a long term. And even if it's weak, let's see. Yeah, so like even if it's options, right? If you're out till September, if you're out till December, right? To an extent, you have to have a stop loss, right? Okay, you're in DKNG at 60 and Hindenburg hits them. Probably just going to have to take an L, right? But in some regards, when you have stocks that just have pullbacks, if you know that it may go back to its daily 9-day moving average, and that's $6 away, and you're out till September, then try and find, be active in your charting, be active in and paying attention to where certain things are going to be bouncing or breaking, and take a position. And the only way that it's going to happen and that you're going to be able to get good at that is by doing it. So that's the end of rant. I'm done now. Let's see here. Yeah, I was just about to say, I saw your comment. Now that I'm looking at the RSI, does look like it's a little bit hot. All right, hold the phone. Here, we'll do this. Now, it could be this number here, right? Or it could be a little triangle. So, we'll see how this plays out. Okay. OSTK. This one was kind of a bust for me today. I entered late. It already was moving. But it did hold a pretty key level, or is holding around a key level. The hourly has a little mini bear flag, but it's holding underneath that 200-day EMA, VWAP, and the 20 and the 50 underneath it. Was there a legitimate risk of trading being halted for the full day? Yes. You're open to whatever. Honestly, I can't say what happens behind like closed door, but I think you're open to manipulation. I think you're open to. You've seen what happens when things gap down. It doesn't gap down for the good. Sometimes you see stocks, they can't stop it. But CARV today was halted so many times. It was ridiculous. So, okay. So as far as overstock, it bounced. It held this support of around 85.50. Again, I would like to see it get back above $90 tomorrow. If it can hold and bounce around there, like I said, it is showing declining volume on the pullback, so there's not a lot of push there. So I would like to see it bounce and break around 90.50. Around 90.50, I think we could see a rebound. But it does also look like it could potentially make that rounded bottom. So may not just trade, immediately just rip. So all right. Okay, any other questions I can answer for anybody? Sorry for a little spaced out right now. I'm beat right now, super tired. But I can answer a few more questions if anybody has any. I'm sorry. Do I use Robinhood with pattern day trading? The best that you can do is message them and tell them that you have no idea what's going on. You didn't hear this from me. Yeah, you just don't know. You just completely what's an option? Like, I made a mistake. Like, just play dumb. That's the only way that you can get. They'll return it and forgive you. But otherwise, you might just have to. I always stick to swing trading. Swing trading usually seems to be the best, where I maybe day trade once a week. Thanks, Adam. Have a good night. Watching space. Actually, let me take a look at D-Nut. Hell yeah, look at D-Nut with the recovery. The bottom bounce. Look at that, 3 bounces off of $17. I'm going to watch that above 1835. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate leaving likes. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm more of a visual kind of guy. I didn't really read charting books. I listened to more podcasts, or I just listened to more things than. So as far as a recommend, I can get a list together for you off the top of my head. Yeah, I'd have to write it down for you, man. I'm not quite sure what direction I could I mean, we have a lot of the information in the chat in our Discord. So thanks for the refresher on how to play Kids College Fund. Nice. As long as it doesn't go into AMC. Eddie, I would recommend the books that are in our Discord for the most part. Those of you in Discord that have been looking to meet with me with a one-on-one, sorry, this week has been kind of chock full. I will be meeting with people this tomorrow afternoon, so I will be hitting you up relatively soon. 2 cream-filled, 2 chocolate bars, 2 maple bars. Are you talking about? Yeah. Where do you put the stocks you're day trading in the $500 challenge? In our Discord. Every morning, though, before the bell, for the most part, we let you guys know what we're getting into, what we're watching, what levels, what contracts, etc., etc. So. Amazon, by the way, is on my watch list tomorrow as well. Amazon of the moon, yeah. So Amazon, relative strength here, not only recovering but making a new freaking high. Aftermarket holding the 9-day moving average. Watching for this one to break back above 37.50. Pre-market is going to be, pre-market prep is always at 8:45 every morning, and that's going to include news. I recap the ETFs, my watch list, usually Justin, and Atlas penny stocks. If Heck and Georgie have anything as well, they're obviously more than welcome to. So, but anyway. So if you guys have any more... So one thing that I want you guys to do as well, if you're new to trading and you guys are in here and watching this later or watching this now, you have to write down the things that come up, the hurdles you run into. Write them down, because when you meet with somebody, you need to remember what so sometimes things pile up, and it gets difficult to keep track of some of the things that you need to work on, and some things get buried. So if you have things you need to work on, make sure that you're writing these things down. Questions, stupid, doesn't matter what you think of them, you need to ask them. If you're curious about it, just ask. There are no stupid questions. If you feel that like it's that stupid, DM me. I've asked some really dumb shit in my life. Ask my fiance. She can tell you. Is she behind me? No, just kidding.
Yes.
Oh, God. I meant like behind me. Amazon to 4,000. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Make sure you guys get some rest. Do your charting. Wake up early. Eat a peanut butter smoothie. Whatever. All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace.